All right, hi 230. So this is the lesson for April 27th. This week we're going to be starting our statistics and probability strand. And in here, the first topic is scatter plots. So scatter plots are things that different scientists use and mathematicians use, and just basically anyone that looks at large amounts of data use it to look for trends in data. Like, is there an increase in something or a decrease in something? Or did it increase and then decrease, or what was going on in the numbers? So that's what we're going to be looking at here. Today, we're just focusing on how do you create a scatter plot, all right? So it says in the first one, scientists are interested in finding out how different species adapt to find food sources. One group studied crocodilian species to find out how their bite force was related to their body mass and diet. The table below displays the information they collected on body mass in pounds and bite force in pounds, okay? So we can see right here the table. We can see the labels. These are each of the animals, and this is their body mass, which is how heavy they are, and then their bite force is how hard they can bite down on something, okay? So it says construct a scatter plot of the body mass and the bite force. Use the grid below. Be sure to add appropriate scale for the axis. All right, so on the bottom it says it's body mass. So we're going to look at the numbers for body mass, and we're going to look for the highest number. So for me, it looks like the highest number is 425. And it looks like the lowest number is 28. So that means that our numbers have to scale from something really small like 28 all the way up to 425. So I think that it makes sense, because they already have 4 little tick marks down here, to make those each 100. So what I mean is, here I'm going to put 100, here I'm going to put 200, here 300, and here 400. Then I noticed that in between 0 and 100, there's 10 tick marks. So that means each of these little move over is 10. So that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, all the way up to 100 here. 110, 120, 130, 140, so on like that, okay? Now over here, let's look at bite force. So it starts down at 0. I see that the lowest bite force, it looks like it's at 230. And then the highest bite force is at 1,650, okay? Well, over here, let's see what numbers we can count by. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Yeah. So I think we're going to have to count by 200s here. So right here, I'm going to do 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, 1,600, 1,800. Okay, so that's what my y-axis is going to look like. And notice in between there's one little tick mark, so that would mean that one right there is 100, and then 200, and then 300, and then 400, so on up there. All right, so now we have to start graphing the points. So the dwarf crocodile, it weighs 35 pounds and it has a bite force of 450. So 35 means I'm going to go over to the right 3 spaces and a half, because that's going to be in between 30 and 40. And then its bite force is 450, so I'm going to go up to 400, and then a little bit higher in between 400 and 500, and I'm going to graph a point right there. Okay, the next one, it says it has a weight of 40 and a bite force of 260. So 40 is going to be 4 lines over, and 260 is going to be in between 200 and 300, but a little closer to 300. So it's going to be right about there. Just like that. All right, I'm going to help you with a few more of these. So 30 and 250. So you're going to go over to 30. And then up to 250, and that'll be about here. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna finish this out. You're gonna see what kind of trend. Does it look like the dots are moving upward? Does it look like they're moving up and then down and then up? Does it look like they're everywhere and there's no pattern? That's okay. All right, so you're gonna take a look at my completed notes to see how I finished that out, and then answering the questions down at the bottom. All right. On the next one, it says that the table below shows the weight and the fuel efficiency for 13 car models with automatic transmissions manufactured in 2009 by Chevrolet. Okay, so weight is obviously how heavy the car is. Fuel efficiency is how many miles it can drive on 1 gallon of gas, okay? So if it's said to be more fuel efficient, then that's better, because you don't have to spend as much money on gas. If it's less fuel efficient, then you're going to have to spend more money on gas. So looking at this, they already labeled these numbers for us, which is awesome, but we have to talk about what's going on here. See this little zigzag? That's called a jump. So what the person who made this did is they noticed that there was going to be no cars that are basically between 0 and 2,500. So what they did is they jumped up from 0 to 2,500. And then they went by 500s upward. They didn't want to include 500, 1,000, 1,500. So they jumped up to there. So anytime you're skipping a set between 0 and something, then you can put in a jump just like that. All right, so see this first one, they already went ahead and they graphed it for us. So 3,200, well, this is 3,000. And then they went 2 spaces a little bit over to 200. And then they went up to 23, and notice how it's a little bit lower than 25. So they already graphed that first one for us. I'm gonna graph this and I will put this online. All right, check out my notes.